again, I thought there'd be at least a few more people here. So I'm going to give it a few more minutes, see if other people do chime in. Looks like people are kind of bouncing in and bouncing out. Maybe it's not their thing. Maybe I should just do my thing, not worry about whether people are here or not, and just kind of say my spiel. And if people join in, then people join in. I was hoping people would join in because then they can share their feedback. What's their fall preparations? Is it gardening? Is it hiking? Do they have plans? I've got a lot of built up vacation time for this fall. I'm really looking forward to this fall. And typically once bow season arrives, that last Saturday in September, I am almost all over the bow hunting, and I can't come off it. In the fall, we're talking the last 10, 12 years, maybe longer. I get 1 or 2 fishing trips in the fall, and that's it. Hi, Judith Davis. Thanks for saying hello. Thanks for popping in. So, as I was stating, typically in the fall, I don't get a lot of fishing trips in. And I am rewriting that script this year. I'm going to completely change it. It does help that I have quite a bit of vacation time. And so my strategy for bow season, deer hunting, I'm putting all my eggs in one basket for the most part. I am going to focus very, very heavily on the rut. So once we get to Halloween, for me, the rut is Halloween to about November the 15th. Once we get to that point, then I won't be fishing at all. But that we're talking about a period of about 10 or 11 days, 12 days where I'm going to be all in for the deer hunting. That's when I'm going to be going for the gusto, hoping for that big mature buck. I've scouted some new areas. I've got some, I'm really excited for this season. I do think the prospects are actually looking a little bit better for this season. I think I'm going to have a little bit more time in the woods, and I think I've drilled down and pinpointed some better spots. I think I'm going to be able to better put myself in position. So again, scaling back the time that I invest in it as far as the season, I think that's really going to help me. I think it's going to be really, really advantageous. As far as the fishing, that's going to be kind of my new emphasis. So right now we're in September. We're kind of right on the precipice of fall fishing. And I love the fishing for the smallmouth bass in the creeks and rivers. That's kind of, here in Ohio, that's kind of now the fall bite. Our creeks and rivers, most of them, we're talking pretty shallow water, small bodies of water. They're going to cool down quicker. And smallmouth bass just aren't real aggressive feeders in the colder water. So I don't hear very much in regard to reports of that. And in regard to the when you get into November. Now, September is awesome. And early October can be really, really good too. But when the water gets colder, the creeks and rivers just don't really produce the smallies. Judith, as far as game camera picks, I just put out a trail camera in one of these hot new spots about a week and a half ago. So I think Sunday I'm going to go in and swap cards and put down some additional bait. I do that off season. Once we get in season, I don't put any food out. I don't put any bait out. I don't fool with that. It's just off season to try to get some inventory, see what bucks might be around. Last year I had some really good bucks in the area that I was hunting, and I did have some hunts where I saw some bucks. I just wasn't really drilled down onto their specific spot. So if I go out east from here and hit that again, I do think that's going to work out. I've got it better pinpointed. The bucks I was kind of just off their bedding, but once we got into the rut, they weren't really using that very much. They were off chasing the does. So I was probably about 100 to 200 yards out of the action, so to speak. So I could see them off in the distance, but when you're bow hunting, that doesn't work out too well. So I fine-tuned that spot, and then these new areas, they're a little bit closer to home and areas that I'm familiar with. areas that I'm familiar with, but new spots. I'm using the stealth approach. If you've watched my videos on scouting, you know that I like to, for me, and especially when it comes to big mature bucks, the best advantage you can get over them is to get into your spot and not have them know that you're there. Just to sneak in, and I'll use rivers or lakes, and I'll go in by boat. And when I go in by boat, I have anywhere from about 20 to 40 yards, and then I'm up in my tree stand. So I have not disturbed the woods, that the area that is their home, really. I just, motor up to the bank, tie it up, short, quick walk in the tree stand, ready to go. Smaller swamp deer. Okay. Are you to the south, Judith? Are you? I'm thinking that you are Carolinas, Tennessee, maybe. I can't remember. My dad has a place in North Carolina, and there are deer there. They're a little bit smaller. Okay, Mississippi. Yeah, Mississippi does have some big deer in certain spots. I've heard about it. I've seen it on the Outdoor Channel and some of those things. But I know in the South, a lot of the areas do produce smaller deer. Like I was saying, my dad's place, it's on the coast, so those coastal deer, they don't have access to the crops and stuff. So they're forage deer, and they don't get real big. We're more fascinated out there in the wildlife area. They've got wild horses. They've got 2 herds of wild horses. So when we get out to the wildlife sanctuary, we're usually looking for the horses, because that's kind of a neat deal to see them. So that's my focus, is to really drill down the deer hunting to October 31st, Halloween, to about the 15th of November, really focusing on that first week of November. When you can catch these mature bucks before they really start getting with the estrus does, that's your best chance, because they're on their feet. They're on their feet and they're covering ground. And if you're from one doe bedding area to another, that's all that counts. You don't even have to have trails or rubs or any of that stuff. You just want to be between his point A and point B, and that's your ambush point. So, and again, I mentioned using the lakes and the about 100 pounds, 140 pounds. Yeah, I mentioned the going in by the lake, and that's a stealth approach. Another advantage to that is I can usually get the wind in my favor, where when I'm set up, again, I'm not going very far. I'm only going maybe 20 or 30 yards through the woods up my stand, and I'll usually have that wind blowing out over the lake. The lake, the deer aren't coming from that direction, so that works out really well. So, like I said, I'm super excited for this coming fall. I've got two really good areas, and I think I've fine-tuned my spots. There was another lake I was going to check out, but I muskie fished it earlier this year. Man, it's a good haul. I don't know if I'm ready for that. If I strike out this year, I might make that my 3rd area next year, but I feel pretty good about that. Now, back to the fall fishing. I mentioned hitting the creeks and the rivers for smallmouth bass, and I'm going to be doing that this month, maybe into October. But one of the things that can make fall fishing tough is fall turnover in the our area reservoirs and lakes. They stratify in the summertime when it gets hot, and then when it cools in the fall, that warmer water cools and then it sinks and everything turns over. They call that turnover, and the lake just turns into pea soup. It's not very good fishing at all for about a week to 2 weeks, and you kind of got to let that settle out, and then the fishing gets good again. So I am probably next weekend going to be hitting Clear Fork. That's the reservoir that you see most of my muskie fishing on. It's a smaller lake, and it does go through turnover, and it does it fairly quick since it's a smaller, shallower lake. But I don't think they're there yet. I'm hoping to catch it right before turnover, and that's a really good time too. That's when that fish finally break out of that stay deep and kind of come shallow and start searching. And when they're searching it in the fall, it's hammer time. They're putting that feed bag on, and they know they got to fatten up. So it can be a really exciting time. My uncle up at Clear Fork at that time, right before turnover, he caught his heaviest muskie ever. It wasn't his longest fish, but man, it had a fat belly. It was pushing 35 pounds. So I know that's a really good time. So next weekend, I'm probably going to try to hit that. And then I might try to hit Alum Creek. That's a bigger, deeper lake before it turns over. And then it's a game of, maybe I'll get in one deer hunt early. And then I might try to get up to Lake Erie and do some walleye fishing. We have what's referred to as the walleye brawl and the fall brawl on Lake Erie. And it's $30 to get into that. And it's big as walleye. They pay out, I don't remember how many spots. It might be 8 or 10. But the two top prizes are a brand new walleye lake boat that's worth anywhere from about $30,000 to $40,000. So if you're only throwing $30 in, it's like, sure, why not? Any given evening you can pop a 10, 11, 12 pound walleye up there, and that might produce a big win for you. My biggest walleye ever is a 13 pounder, and I caught it December 1st in like 1999 off the pier. So I've got a smaller boat. I don't do a lot of Lake Erie fishing out of my boat, but that time of year when the fish are near shore, inshore, I'll go out there. I'll fish the river channel, and I'll fish within a mile of the shore. If the wind's right, I'm not going out there in 30-mile-an-hour northwest wind and trying to make it happen. So safety first, obviously, on a deal like that. But I think I can get 2-3 trips, and I might go with my uncle. He said he's going to get in it, and his boat's a little bit better built for that. And I got a buddy, and he said he might get in it too. And he's got a lake boat. He's got a bayliner. I think it's 23 or 24 foot. It was that was the boat I was on in my Lake Erie video from earlier this summer. So, yeah, sauger are fantastic. They do really well in the rivers, and those are really, really good eating fish, almost just like walleye. Here in Ohio, we have a hybrid of the sauger and the walleye that are stocked in our inland reservoirs because the walleye they found don't do real well. So, and I don't know if they just never tried pure strain sauger, but anyway, they came up with this hybrid. It's a saugeye, and so I'll probably target them a few times. Hit Alum Creek for the saugeye bite there a few times. That's probably going to be after turnover. Once we get into probably after bow season, unless I get a deer early. If I stick a nice buck on Halloween, then that'll give me some chances there in November to get out and fish for saugeye, and might sneak in a crappie trip with the kids. I'm not sure. My son really likes catching crappie, and he likes to watch me fillet them and clean them. It's crazy. He's fascinated with that stuff. So that's kind of my approach to this fall. I'm definitely changing it up. It's going to be a lot different. I'm much more dedicated to chasing the fish. This year, late summer, I kind of got ambitious and I traveled far and wide for muskie. I went to Piedmont with my uncle, which is about an hour and 45 minutes away. We spent the whole day out there, got skunked. And then we went, definitely, Judith, those sauger, they're a cold water fish for sure. I totally get that. I don't know, do you have any dams that you fish those for? I know they like to congregate around the dam areas or spillway areas if you got them in smaller rivers or streams. And then I also went over to Leesville Lake, which is almost 2 hours. It's an hour and 50-minute drive over there. I went over there twice this summer on both the holiday weekends. I went the weekend of the 4th of July, and I went the weekend of Labor Day just recently. and got skunked both times. I had a couple bites that first time in July, but on Labor Day weekend, Saturday of Labor Day weekend, I didn't have nothing. So I think I'm done traveling for muskie this year. Any muskie fishing I do the rest of the year, I'm going to do it here locally on my lakes that are within 45 minutes of my house. Well, yeah, definitely Pickwick Dam on the Tennessee River. Nice. Judith, do you fish the Mississippi River a lot? I gotta believe it has good catfishing down that way, right? Or at least I would think. I caught my biggest catfish last year was in the fall. I was fishing a river for smallmouth bass and throwing a spinner bait because that's usually what I'm doing when I'm fishing for smallmouth bass. And I had a big channel cat just smashed it. I thought at first I thought I had, you know, Big Daddy smallmouth bass, and here it was this big old fat channel catfish, and this sucker was probably 7 or 8 pounds. The Tennessee River, okay. I know. I don't know much about the river down that way. I had mentioned the Mississippi River. It goes all the way up into Minnesota. The headwaters, man, their bass fishing is phenomenal. The Red River, I think, flows into the Mississippi. That's phenomenal for smallmouth bass. And then you've got the Mississippi itself in Minnesota and up that way. It's just phenomenal smallmouth bass fishing. Um, Maybe that's on my bucket list. I'd like to get over there sometime. I don't think it'll be this fall. That's I'm not going to be able to get that worked in, but I don't know. It it should be a good fall. I'm excited about it. I'm really looking forward to it. There's a lot going on. I'm going to have a lot of opportunities. I'd like to sneak in a trip over to Buckeye Lake and see if I could pop a wiper. That's another hybrid that we have. It's a cross between a striped bass and a white bass. We call them wipers. They can get up to 12, 15, 18 pounds. So that'd be pretty exciting too, but I've never caught one. That They've got them in Buckeye Lake, and that's pretty close to me too. That's only about 25, 30 minutes away. So I might sneak over there and try that too. That's a really shallow lake. So gosh, they got to be knocking on the door of turnover like any day. If we get another really good cold front, I bet it does turn over. So we'll see. I don't know. Let's see. I've rambled on here for 24 minutes, and well, the tracker shows 24 minutes. I probably didn't start yapping until 8 or 10 minutes in. The river run stripers. Okay. Yeah, 24 pounds. That's awesome, Judith. Wow. That is awesome. I bet that was a battle. um, that's bigger than anything I've ever caught, I believe. So my walleye was 13 pounds, and I believe I've caught a few catfish that were right about 13 pounds, 14 pounds, but I've not caught anything bigger than that. I don't even think I've caught anything in the ocean that was all that big either. So uh, who knows? Maybe this fall I'll bust a big muskie, big 30, 35-pound muskie. I don't know. That's the goal. That's why I'm kind of reinvesting the time and the effort on the fall fishing. This is the time of year when you can pop a trophy, and that's what I'm going to try to do. So Well, I wish I had more people here to bounce feedback off and ask questions and get their input and see what they're going to do for this fall. This was the first time I ever did this. I didn't know what I was doing. I don't know if my delay in getting it started might have turned people off or uh, who knows, but I'll probably do it again sometime. I don't think I'm going to make this a regular thing, at least not yet. I may need to attract a crowd of some sort first, but it was neat to try it, to turn it on, see what happens, play with it. I know a lot of the guys are using advanced chat, and I didn't take the time to download any advanced chat. I just did this right from YouTube's studio, and the weird thing is when I tried to connect for how I had it scheduled, it it asked me to plug in my chat software. I'm like, I didn't think I needed chat software. Okay, doing a lot of trapping. I've never trapped, but I guess it can be pretty good. I've had friends and different. There was a charter boat captain that I ran around with about 10, 12. I don't know. It's probably about 15 years ago, and he trapped. He trapped a lot, so I'd hear his stories about it, putting hides up and that sort of thing. But I've just never really got into it. Um, yeah, but when I tried to connect to that scheduled chat, it asked me to connect my streaming software. And I'm like, I don't have streaming software. I want to use YouTube's streaming software, and it wouldn't let me. I had to kind of create a new one. Yeah, I might pop on there and see what kind of a crowd he attracts. Say hello to some of them fellas. I guess that's in about a half hour. I'm gonna. I didn't have a video for today, so I definitely wanted to try this. I probably will leave this up. I might cut off the 10 minutes in the beginning. I saw a tutorial where you can edit these, so hopefully I can chop off that first 8 or 10 minutes where I was just kind of sitting here looking stupid. But Judith, thanks for stopping in. Thanks for joining in the chat, saying hello and interacting. At least I had something. Made it worth a while. I appreciate it. I really, really, really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to your shed video and your 40 questions. And yeah, I'll probably pop over and check out Trapper Jay's chat and see how some of the guys are doing over there. Thanks, Judith. I'm gonna end the stream. I'll catch you over there. You bet.